Path of the Willow by Stephen Meehan. Once upon a time, a young girl woke on Christmas morning, a broad grin stretching across her face as she bolted from her bed. She flew down the stairs, stopping before the glittering Christmas tree. The little girl ignored the presents under the tree, locking her gaze on the hanging stockings, packed with goodies. She picked up her stocking and found a thread trailing from its edge into a nearby closet. She eased the door open and followed the thread inside. Her intuition told her she'd reached the opposite wall, but the space stretched on, as if no end existed. Her mind was befuddled when her foot stepped into a puddle. She kneeled and confirmed the water was real. A brush of fabric against her skin accompanied her failed search for the door upon turning. The girl kept the fiber in her grasp as she found a coat, pants, and boots that fit. When she dressed, she continued to follow the thread until she could see light breaking through the thickening darkness. That light drove her forward, and as she pushed through the darkness, her eyes were shocked by the bright sun. Once accustomed to the brightness, she discovered she was in a wondrous forest clearing. Snow fell around her, and she lifted her hand, inspecting the falling snowflakes. She was so obsessed with the snow that she didn't notice the small bird on her shoulder until the animal spoke.
"Hello, little one."
The girl yelped, jumping backward, then turned to find who spoke, latching onto a little winged creature.
"Who are you?"
"I'm your guide."
The little creature said between its warbles and trills.
"My what?"
The child asked, her hands pressed to her cheeks as her massive eyes studied the creature. The bird tilted its head and chirped before declaring,
"You're here to save the forest."
What? You must have me confused with someone else. I'm just a child.
"Come, the wise one will answer your questions."
the bird answered as it leapt from her shoulder. Despite the unease within her, the girl forced herself to follow her guide to the wise one. When they reached a cave, the bird landed upon her shoulder. The girl drew on a strength she hadn't known she possessed and explored the cave until she found the wise one. She hadn't expected another animal, yet there lay an enormous snow-white wolf with large streaks of gray peppered about it. The girl halted, but with a gentle squeeze from the bird's claws, she inched forward. Standing in front of the majestic creature, she waited in silence until the wolf spoke.
"Welcome, little one.
How am I supposed to save the forest?
It was prophesied long ago that a brave and pure child would stand against the enchantress and bring about her downfall with a single strike."
The wolf said with warmth, filling each word.
How?
"You will go to the enchantress's fortress. On your way, remove a branch from the first willow tree you find.
How will a branch help me?"
Trust that it will, brave child."
As the girl nodded, the wolf commanded.
Follow your guide to the enchantress's fortress.
The girl followed her guide, and they quickly reached the willow tree, its beauty stealing her breath. It was unlike anything she had ever seen. Its drooping branches shimmered in the falling snow, almost glowing with quiet menace. A strange, heavy silence hung over the clearing, and even the bird held its breath. When she walked towards the tree, a drooping branch lashed her, drawing blood and a cry. Falling to her knees, another branch whipped over her head. Tears welled in her eyes. She clutched her cheek, trembling. Maybe the wolf was wrong. Doubts ran through her mind, but she thought of her parents, and she took a breath. She wouldn't turn back. When she detected another branch flying toward her, she began crawling toward the tree. She climbed the first limb and scooted forward to remove a flailing branch. Switch in hand, she dropped to the ground and continued. This time the tree let her pass. When the fortress shimmered into view, a woman stepped outside wearing a flowing dress and holding an imposing and bejeweled staff. The girl stopped, and her guide whispered,
"The enchantress. Remember what the wise one told you."
A wicked laugh tore through the clearing. The enchantress pointed, eyes narrowing in disbelief.
"This meaningless child is supposed to bring about my downfall. She's not impressive at all."
When the bird's claws squeezed again, the girl sprang into action. The enchantress's eyes filled with hatred, and she lifted her staff to the sky, and thunder filled the world. Terrified, the girl braced herself. As she stepped forward, a streak of lightning rushed toward her. Before it struck, the willow branch knocked it aside like a pesky fly. The child's confidence flourished, shielded by the branches, as each step caused lightning to be deflected away. Close enough to touch, she observed the enchantress's fearful, angry expression. Prepared to strike, the enchantress raised her staff. On instinct, she struck with her switch, unleashing a burst of light like a star and a crack of thunder which shattered the world. When the light faded, the child was standing in the clearing she had entered, with the wise one in front of her and her guide circling her head. With her hands now empty, the wise one's words reached her ears.
Thank you for your bravery, child. Don't ever overlook simple deeds. Even the smallest act of kindness holds great power.
The girl smiled and hugged the massive wolf as it continued.
I have brought you back to the clearing that brought you here. Follow the thread back to your home with our thanks.
The girl nodded against the wolf, then grabbed the thread and followed it home, where her parents were looking for her. She raced from the closet and embraced them.
Mommy, Daddy, Merry Christmas!
With that, our story concludes. I hope you've enjoyed today's reprieve from your daily grind. If you like the vibe, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, because every bit helps get this channel spread to those who require a momentary chance to unwind. I'll see you for the next tale, my friends.